Taking you home, Brandon Johnson in studio with us. We're going to talk about assessed values of property. Brandon, good morning.
Good morning, Bob.
Okay, every year we get these notices
Yes.
from the county, right?
Correct.
And they say, hey, congratulations, your property is now worth X amount of dollars. Where do they get those numbers?
Yeah, so we're coming up on late October. Sorry, can we cut that?
We can. Go ahead.
We're coming up on late October, early November, and so each county will send out their proposed value for the following year, so in this case, 2026. And in past years, it's always been kind of an undervalue of what you could sell your home for on the open market. In this year, I believe people are going to get a lot of sticker shock seeing values that may not be what they could get on the open market.
Okay, I want to bring my life to the radio station right now, okay?
Yeah.
To this program. So I've got a piece of property up north. Last year it was valued at, I think, 57, right? It's not developed and just pure raw land. Every year it goes up. Recreational is how it's zoned and all that kind of stuff, right? So how do they just factor in 5% every year, 3%, whatever?
So I can speak specifically to Stearns County, but most counties generally don't vary a lot.
Okay.
Stearns County will physically visit the property within every 5 years.
Okay.
Do an exterior examination of the properties. Different counties can do 3, but right around that plus or minus 5 years, they are out there looking and doing an analysis on the property. Within that 5-year period, I don't know their algorithms on percentages. They have data that the average values have gone up 7%, so they apply those sort of analysis to their properties within those 5 years. The main thing which you're getting at is the market values fluctuate more frequently than on a 3 to 5 year basis. They fluctuate almost quarterly, right? So they can go up or down, fluctuate away from that baseline that the county's using. And I think this year you're going to see a big discrepancy in values versus real market value.
Now, I had heard, and this and $5 will get you a cup of coffee somewhere, but I had heard that a rule of thumb was add 30% to that market value.
Yeah, and so that's a generalization probably based on one particular year where that's how the values on the open market lined up versus the assessed value.
Okay.
What I have seen is, you're right, we used to apply those, but it can vary year to year. And different properties, if they're being analyzed more frequently or it's come up more than something that hasn't been analyzed in 5 years, could be off.
Gotcha.
So the question is, I get my assessed value here in early November and I am not comfortable with it. What do I do? In Stearns County and Benton County and Sherburne County, there should be a number. You are assigned an appraiser from that particular county, and their name and phone number should be on that letter. Your first step is to reach out to them and say, hey, I would like to discuss my value. What you're going to want to show to them is data, comparable sales. So for instance, on my personal house in my neighborhood, there have been 2 recent examples that I am going to use to have a conversation on my value. Also, there's also been 2 properties that have not sold at a particular price that can be additional data. So that's the type of data you want to express to your assigned appraiser when you're disputing the assessed value to show them.
So this is kind of like buying and selling. Do comps enter into the factor here at all or no?
Absolutely. So the next question is, how can your realtor help you do this? And so the short answer is we can actually help you do a market analysis with the caveat we are not licensed appraisers.
Right.
So when we give a market analysis, give comparables, give you the data, it has to be in the context of listing your home. So as long as you're saying one of the remote options of doing this is it's the possibility we might list our home, we at VoigtJohnson can help you with the data and the comparables that you can use to make a decision on what you choose to do. So if you go to your appraiser and you can't come to an agreement, you can go to a county board meeting, present your case to the county commissioners and dispute it further. That's kind of the process of disputing your value, specifically in Stearns County, but it works similar in in every county.
Okay, so this letter comes out first part of this coming month, right, November.
Yes.
And does that mean that these assessor offices, their phones are going to be ringing off the hook?
I would, if I had to guess, I think they're going to have an influx of calls and just questions regarding property values more so than they've had in the last 3 to 5 years.
So you're saying property values are going to be higher.
The assessed values.
The assessed values
Yes.
are going to be higher, and that may or may not reflect the truth.
Well, what I'm saying is county data and assessments in general are more of an historic trailing data point than
Okay,
the
so we're
actual
behind.
market. So, correct. So the county data is always a year, 2 years behind the actual data. So when we as the public, when it's been to our advantage and that trailing data has been lower, we're not going to call in and dispute it, right?
Right.
But the moment the market catches up or that threshold crosses into now it's overly high and we want to challenge it, that's when the calls are going to go to the county. And I think we're kind of at that point for a lot of people here this year.
Okay, now I have to ask you this question. Does that mean that market values now are either leveling off or are they diminishing a little bit?
I would say it varies based on price point.
Okay.
So there are areas that have just not appreciated to the levels that they have the last 3 to 4 years. And so when you look at county data and they look at, going up 5-7% every year, that hasn't happened.
Okay.
So it's hard to give a generic statement based on that question, but I do think the values have not appreciated the way they have in the last 3 to 5 years.
All right, now, is there any appeals process after I talk with my assessor, after I talk with my county board? That's it?
Well, the appeals process, and I don't know if they call it.
Yeah,
that,
I just picked that out
would
of
be
the air.
going to the county board.
Gotcha.
If you can't come to an agreement with the assessor at the county office, that would be the quote unquote appeals process.
All right, folks, once again, you can see why you should be working with VoigtJohnson Real Estate. How do we make that happen?
Yeah, if you have any questions on this process at all, reach out to us at 320-774-2400 or online at VoigtJohnson.com.
Brendan Johnson, thank you.
Thank you, Bob.